What is going on, everybody? It is the Going Over Big Time podcast. I am Mike Charla, once again joined by my friend and co-host Alan the Cantastic, and we are here to discuss, review Forbidden Door 2025 AEW X New Japan X CMLL X Stardom. They don't really say that. They don't really say that anymore. They just say New Japan X AW, but it also includes those other companies.
Yeah, I mean, technically, I will say they did. It was an enjoyable show. I will say.
Yes.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it when we get to the main event. I guess the part I didn't like, but yeah, I thought
Yes.
unfortunately because of timing of the G1 tournament, um, New Japan did not have a good chunk of their talent available for Forbidden Door. Hence,
Yes.
I would say this year's Forbidden Door, the Forbidden Door was only slightly opened to allow a sprinkling of
Yes.
talent from the companies you mentioned, CMLL, Stardom, and New Japan, to trickle in. Otherwise,
Yes.
this was a very heavily
So
AEW esque pay per view.
yes, so that was obviously one of the criticisms going in, that and unfortunately this was just timing because of scheduling and stuff. All in obviously got moved, and in turn because of that Forbidden Door had to get moved. And unfortunately this was why we didn't really have a lot of time on our end to do our normal uh Forbidden Door fantasy booking. And then when it was time to build for Forbidden Door, as you mentioned, the G1 is going on. So all of their main talent, including Tanahashi, which we will talk about later,
Yeah.
all were competing in the G1 while we're building to this show. So
Mhm.
nobody could really show up in AEW until the week before the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, at least it saved you the time of doing this whole long fantasy booking card, which honestly, probably only 10% of your picks would have been done.
Well, yeah, I mean that's just a fun thing that we do every year, but again, it just unfortunately with the way the schedule time happened, we weren't able to do that this year. I want to do it next year if we're able to, but yeah, that was one of the things. There was not a big New Japan presence on this show, and obviously because of the G1 stuff. Um, then at the same time, Stardom also had their big round robin tournament happening around this time, the 5-star Grand Prix. So, but apparently the only talent that wanted to come over was the one that we got, and yeah, and I don't think that this is a perfect show. Obviously, it's a good show, but there's little things that get in the way of some of these matches being great. Uh, Obviously, we'll get to the world title match, but
Yeah.
because there's a lot there that just does not make a lot of sense. Um, and some stuff in some of the other matches not great, but all around this was still a good show. So we'll obviously get into everything that happened, and we'll start with the pre-show. The first match on the pre-show was let me see here. I had the list up, and then
It's the
it was the
Paragon.
Paragon. Yes, the
Yeah.
Paragon teaming up with El Desperado and Yuya Uemura to defeat the Crew and the Don Callis family members of Hechicero and Josh Alexander. Um, so this match was fun for what it was. Um, I wasn't expecting a lot here. Obviously, they just wanted to get some New Japan people
Yeah.
some other New Japan people on the show. It's cool that El Desperado's here. It's cool that Yui Moore is here.
So
Um,
I had not seen Yuya Uemura since his American excursion in the TNA. My recollection was after he went back to New Japan, they tried to relabel him as Heat Storm, which I don't know if it caught on really well, but I kind of like lost track of him for a while.
mhm.
I will say this: what's interesting is in this 8-man tag, when Yuya and Josh stood against facing each other, I think my recollection was Yuya's TNA run ended with Josh Alexander being his last opponent, actually.
Mhm.
So this was a nice little callback there. Not sure if it was intentional, but yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if there was storyline to this, I mean, like, why is Crew teaming with the Don Callis family? I mean, are they feuding with
No,
Paragon or like
no, there really
whatever?
wasn't. There really wasn't anything to this match. This was just a card filler match, which was still a very good match.
Yeah.
It just didn't matter. Um,
I am
which is fine.
surprised. I am surprised that Hechizero was not the man to get over, considering as we are recording this, ROH Death Before Dishonor is on tonight, and Hechicero has a ROH World Title match against Bandito. You think they do something to like put him over and highlight Hechicero, this guy they signed from CMLL, who's supposedly a submission specialist.
Yeah,
Instead, looks like Yuya got the pin on I want to say Leo Action Andretti, but
yeah,
thinking it
yeah.
was because I'm
Yes,
definitely don't believe any of Don's guys took the pin on that one.
yeah. So yeah, this match was fine. I wish Paragon was doing more. Obviously, things kind of got derailed with them with the unfortunate Adam Cole stuff. Of course, we hope for the best for Adam Cole, but as of right now, this is kind of the Paragon is just spinning their wheels. Hopeful, but in the tag division, which I hope will pick up and they'll be a bigger part of.
Yeah,
Um,
well, there is only one path for the Paragon, and it's to do a parallelomeration with the rest
yes.
of Kyle's
So
ragtag group of
that
friends.
they've kind of been teasing stuff
Yeah,
like that where Kyle wants to be friends with everybody and Roddy doesn't want anything to do with the conglomeration, especially Ishii and Orange Cassidy is due back eventually
right.
and I don't think he's very fond of him either. So um
Roddy doesn't like anyone in the conglomeration except Kyle.
yes, that is correct.
Unfortunately,
So yeah, we'll see what happens. Leading up to this, Paragon actually had a great match on Collision with the Young Bucks that was very randomly put together. Um, which is not surprising. Those guys always work well together. Um, so yeah, we'll see what happens with everybody else in this match. The Crew is really not doing anything, like at all. I don't even remember the last time I saw them before this match.
yeah, like
If it
guys,
was
like
ROH, then
the spiky jackets, like that's only going to get you so far, guys. Like I don't know why I am
yeah,
supposed to find
I
you dangerous
for
or
some
intimidating.
reason for some reason I can't stand those jackets. I don't know why. It's just they just get
Because
more
they remind
obnoxious
you of
every single time.
coronavirus. That's literally what they look like. They look like giant
Oh
sized
well, I what
coronavirus.
that wasn't why, but I mean that I guess that makes sense. All right. So the next match on the 0 hour pre-show for Forbidden Door was a match that was announced randomly on Collision. Um, Gates of Agony and Ricochet facing off against Jet Speed and Michael Oku. Michael Oku
Yes.
has
Also
yes,
got Rev Pro has some, I guess, in a sense, Rev Pro has some representation here
yes.
with Michael Oku.
Yeah, of
Um,
course. They've had a relationship with New Japan for a long time, and Yeah, Michael Oku has been a fixture there for a long time. There's been speculation of him coming to AEW full time with his manager slash I think girlfriend Amira, who
Sorry,
was
I know we're on the next match. I just realized I wrote something down before. Random thought: if they ever do it, Hechicero versus Desperado on a singles match would be a great match to put on anywhere.
yeah, and as far as I'm aware, those two have never faced each other one
I
on
was
one.
like that. They had a good exchange during that 8-man tag. Anyway,
Yes,
continue.
yeah, that match should happen for sure. Um, yes, so this match was actually a hell of a match. Um, Michael Oku took a nasty bump uh to the outside where nobody caught him. Um, supposedly he was fine, but that guy is not very big. So
No,
uh
got a bit of a trend lately with like young, smaller guys that are flyers and getting thrown off in insane
yeah,
heights and landing really badly.
yes. Um but this match was fun. Jet Speed and Michael Oku together is a cool team. Obviously Gates of Agony and Ricochet are on the come up right now. Um this match led to them getting a trios title match on Dynamite, which they did not win because of stuff we will talk about later.
Mhm.
But yeah, I enjoyed this match. I like Gates of Agony a lot. I think that this stuff with Ricochet is working, and I want these guys to be trios champion down the line, um, because I want Ricochet on the screen. He is killing it, everything he's doing right now. Um, and yeah, those two are monsters who are super athletic, and yeah,
And they're not just monsters; they've got some personality, or they're starting to do some.
yeah,
Like Bishop Khan is always like doing a laughing and clapping thing. It just looks like
mhm,
very evil. And then his partner usually was just some screaming madman. Now it
totally.
sounds more like a bit of a dangerous dude. And I was like more
Yeah,
calculated. And them
yeah.
teaming with Rick.
I always hate that stereotype that they give to you know,
Yeah, like they were real. They were
Islanders.
yeah.
They have to be like Umaga. They have to be like savages. Why do they have to be savages? This guy is clearly not that. He is more than that, and they're showing it now. So yeah,
Mhm.
I'm excited to see more stuff with all of these people. I think we're gonna see more of Michael Oku in AEW down the line. Jet Speed is a hell of a tag team who are obviously they're taking losses right now because they're not in line for anything. But it's cool that they put these two together, and um, I don't think we expected either Kevin Knight or uh, Mike Bailey to have huge single success right now. So putting them together as a tag team, I
Yeah.
think, was a
And
good move.
but just a quick follow-up point on Dynamite this week. There was another 8-man tag. I mean, Mike Bailey and Josh Alexander, they keep being thrown to 8-man tag matches. And the match ends with basically Mike tried to hit his ultimate weapon, completely missed, and then Josh basically does a very unique roll up, just
Yeah,
sneaks in a pin there.
yeah.
And I think later on he tweeted out something like, "Fuck you, Speedball" or something like that.
Well,
Which is very
funny.
in
Funny
line
you
with
mentioned that. Yes, funny you mentioned that because there was and this isn't really storyline. This was actually like rumor and innuendo that went around backstage where
oh
there was talk of the Hurt Syndicate not and we'll talk about them when we get to their match, but we'll talk about this now since we're talking about Jet Speed. Um there was talk that the Hurt Syndicate had a list of people they wanted to put over, and that they didn't want to put over Jet Speed because MVP doesn't like Mike Bailey, which was a very weird thing to hear because, like, how can anybody dislike Mike Bailey? We never really got a reason why MVP
Well, if
doesn't
you
like
listen to
Mike Bailey.
if you listen to Don Callis on commentary, there are like numerous reasons to hate that scumbag from Quebec. You know, he's like,
Yes, of
you know,
course.
the scheming weasel and the pawn scum.
Yes. And of course, when this came out, they took advantage of this and made content out of it where the Hurt Syndicate was walking backstage
Right.
and they see Mike Bailey doing his vlog and they just walk up behind him and MVP just goes, "Fuck you, Speedball," and then he goes up to Lashley and Shelton and be like and goes, "Tell him," and they both put their head down like out like
Like in shame.
in shame, like I don't want to,
Like,
but
okay, fuck you,
fuck you,
people.
Speedball, and Mike Bailey was like,
Like,
"Fuck you
fuck you,
guys too."
MVP. Fuck
And
you
and
guys.
he just said it so nonchalantly. He was like, "And fuck you guys too," and he waved. and we got multiple angles of this because we saw it in two different sources of media, which was hilarious. But I love when wrestlers take advantage of that kind of stuff and make content like this because that video was everywhere when it first came out from MVP's point of view, and then when it came out again from Mike Bailey's point of view.
Oh,
um, so yeah, we'll see what happens with Jet Speed, but I liked that little thing that they did with the supposed drama between
mm-hmm,
MVP and Mike Bailey, which doesn't make sense, but what do what do I know?
mm-hmm.
All right. The next match, the third match on the pre-show was a 8-woman tag between all these women that have kind of just been feuding all together.
Yes.
So this match actually made a lot of sense. It was Triangle of Madness, Julia Hart, Sky Blue, and Thekla teaming with Megan Bayne with Penelope Ford in their corner, defeating Harley Cameron, Chris Statlander, Queen Aminata, and Willow Nightingale. Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale are still on and off. Like their relationship is not good. Um, Willow is friends with everybody except her, and Harley just got back from her injury. Of course, she had that surprise run in at it was All In, right? And
Yep.
yeah, Triangle of Madness and Megan get the win, which kind of surprised me. I thought it was going to go the other way around, but yeah, I all these teams, these two teams have been going at it on and on. Like we've seen
Yeah.
multiple all-star tags, multiple $100,000 fatal 4-ways.
Yeah, and Harley and Chris teamed together against, I think,
Um,
Megan and Penelope this
yes,
past week on Dynamite. And
yes,
then Willow came out, made the save, and then Harley's kind of standing between them, trying to like reconcile their relationship. Um,
yes,
the thing about this 8-woman tag was not really so much as the outcome, but it like what kind of splintered off, and we'll talk about it later in the show because it kind of happened in between two matches. I can't remember which
yes.
one. So I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by this Ring of Honor pre-show. This is something's really
Uh-huh.
stupid is happening right now. But anyway, you look like you're in some kind of you're kind of frozen, so I'm going to keep talking. What happened in the match was that Tekla and Queen Amanada ended up brawling back outside, and then they started fighting their way backstage, and they essentially disappeared from the match. They
Yeah,
were
yeah, I don't know why my computer just decided to
okay.
kick me out of the room. I have no idea why.
And you're the one hosting the fucking room, man. I don't know what's going on
I don't
here.
know why I got kicked out. I didn't do anything. I
Anyway,
literally
as I was saying, I said the only thing that this 8-woman tag that I remembered was that Tekla and Queen Amanada ended up fighting to the backstage area, and they disappeared from the match, and you kind of forgot about it and then realized they reemerged later, and I'm like, wait, what? When did this happen? Right? I'm like,
Yeah.
are they still? Is the match still going on? And I'll realize no, they're just doing a spot where they're just still fight. They're doing the thing where they're still fighting after the match is over. Um, I mean, do you want to bring that up? Because like I don't actually remember when
Yeah.
this happened.
I don't remember when this took place. It was in between some
Yeah.
matches.
So
I don't.
basically, I don't remember. It was either between like Brodito first a tag title match and Okada versus Swerve, or somewhere in between. It just happened. I remember seeing a clip of what transpired later, and I'm like, I don't remember that happening in the 8-woman tag. And they're like, oh shit, no, they did the pre-show where they brawled backstage, and then during the pay-per-view, they showed them fighting outside, and Tekla and Queen Amanada, Queen was about to like lay it on Tekla when then her friends Julia and Sky came out to make the save, so it turns into a 3-woman beatdown. And then suddenly Jamie Hayter's music plays, and because it's London, Jamie Hayter's back, and she's going after the Triangle of Madness, and specifically Tekla, because Tekla in her debut took out Jamie Hayter. Did make sense to me that all 3 women started cowering before one woman and then started running away because there's like 3 of them and 1 of her. So it's like, why are you scared? So,
Yeah,
but anyway,
that didn't make a lot of sense,
yeah,
but it was fine.
Jamie got her nice local pop from the local
Yeah.
hometown crowd.
Unfortunately, this like two two big UK shows in a row where Jamie Hayter made a return instead of wrestled. Um, because unfortunately, she if you remember back when Jamie Hayter faced Mercedes in the finals of the Owen Hart Cup,
Yeah, yeah.
there was that spot that we discussed that we weren't sure was planned or not, where they went for a small package and Jamie landed right on her head.
Oh,
Yeah, that
now it sounds familiar. Yeah, yeah.
yes. So
Basically
that
turned into a DDT,
yes.
inadvertent DDT.
So
Yeah.
unfortunately, that resulted in, I believe, a concussion.
Oh,
So that's why when they did the Thekla angle, they had to do some smoke and mirrors with the lights turned off, and then when they came back on, Jamie was on the ground.
oh,
Because she couldn't take a bump. Um, so yeah, I'm very happy that Jamie is back. Obviously, I love her because she's one of the best in-ring performers that AEW has, not just women, one of the best.
hmm,
And yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with her and Thekla. That should be a good match because I think Thekla is really taking well to the American uh style, and she fits in well, obviously, with Julia and Sky. Um, Surprisingly enough, and we've talked about this in the past because they had a collision in Scotland. Um, Isla Dawn showed up on Collision in Scotland, and I remember we discussed her possibly coming to AEW and being part of the Triangle of Madness. Obviously, it would become a square at that point. Um, but I don't know if she's going to sign or if that was a one off. Um, but obviously, she would fit right in with that group for obvious reasons.
yeah,
All right, so the next match on the pre-show of AEW New Japan Forbidden Door was a trios title match, and this one actually made sense to happen because of angles
yes,
that happened leading up to this show.
right.
The Ops, Shibata, Hobbs, and Joe defended against the Bullet Club War Dogs members of Clark Connors, Driller Maloney, and Robbie X,
With
who
Gato.
with Gato in their corner. And this was, I believe, the shortest match on the entire show.
Yeah, it looks like
And
it was only 7 minutes.
And I think the reason is because some of the other matches before this one went over time. Um,
Oh,
uh, because when this match ended, there was like 40 seconds until the pay-per-view started.
Really? Oh, so
Yes.
I first off, the Bullet Club, the OG Bullet Club, finally makes an appearance at a Forbidden Door, but they're on the pre-show, and it's like it's not like, and it's not even Finley, and I mean you've got Gabe Kidd in the main event, sure, but it's not even David Finley. It's not even like who else is in that group? Like who else is still in the group? Like
so there's been reports going around that supposedly Tony Khan knows who he likes in New Japan, and the ones that he doesn't usually don't get booked. There's rumors that David Finlay is in that boat, but I don't know why. Evil is definitely in that boat. For some and not surprising that Tony Khan doesn't like Evil, because all of his matches end in shenanigans.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know if David Finlay is one of those people. That would suck because David Finlay is very good. But we've seen Clark Connors in AEW before, of course. And I believe this is the first time we're seeing Driller Maloney in AEW and Robbie X also. But yeah, this match was a sprint, and it was a lot of fun for what it is. I mean, the Ops have great matches because they have great chemistry together. I guess Hook is just done with them.
Yeah, so in this match, I remember Gato tried to do an interference and he messed up, and then he got called out on it. I just couldn't remember exactly what.
Yeah, I didn't take much notes for the pre-show.
I think this match ended with a Samoa Joe Muscle Buster, but
yes, on Robbie X, I believe.
Right. Okay, Robbie X. I'm like, who the hell is Robbie X? Hold on. Yeah, I have no idea who this guy. Okay, he's from Rev Pro. Okay.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah. So this match was fine. Like the Ops always they always have good matches. So it is what it is. They're just great workers. And they're continuing their reign, which obviously we thought was going to end recently when Samoa Joe had to take time off. We kind of just want these trios belts to matter, and we thought that was going to happen when the Ops won them, and things have been weird still with those belts, even though there's a lot of groups in AEW that could be holding them and defending.
I mean, they just defended. I mean, as we mentioned, they just defended them on Dynamite, so it's like there are groups that are going forward.
Yes, so they defended them, as we mentioned, against Ricochet and GOA. We will talk more about that when we get to the tag title match. But
speaking of tag matches, let's go to the main card.
Yeah, and we kicked off with a match I did not expect to be the opener, but I was fine that it was. It was fine that it was. It was the reuniting of Cope and Christian to take on the team of Kip Sabian and the returning Luchasaurus Killswitch. I don't know why we're still calling him Killswitch. That was the name that Christian gave him. He is Luchasaurus.
Yeah. It's weird. I like how now, because Christian is a baby face, but yet retains
quote unquote.
Yes, retains all of his previous characteristics. In fact, he added his entrance video includes a number of adjectives describing him as a father, a patriot. Now they added the word asshole because Adam Copeland has said that he's an asshole, but he's my asshole. Not in that way, but as in a metaphoric way.
Yes. He thought it was he, of course, when he said that, had to think about it for a second, like okay.
It was almost a callback. It was almost a callback to the way Kurt Angle was like saying something in the ring, and it sounded kind of gay, and then Kurt's like, no, that's not what I meant. I can't remember exactly what he said. Yes. But so this was the most dysfunctional tag match probably one
So
of which I've seen.
yes,
Whereas a
most
team
of the
that had
match,
not teamed in like 25 years came off way more smoother than two guys who were supposed to be in a group together and yet like were completely mistake after mistake after mistake.
well, yeah, Kip Sabian and Luchasaurus have never teamed before.
Yeah.
This kind of came together because Nick
Nick,
Wayne is
yeah.
legitimately injured.
Mm.
Um, Supposedly he's not going to be out that long, but
Well,
wasn't
they
going to
have
be able to work
he's
this
hanging
show.
on the Ring of Honor television title, so
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, there was a lot in a couple of things in this match that stuck out. Obviously, early on, like Christian wanted nothing to do with Luchasaurus at one point,
Mm.
getting off the apron when Cope was like gonna tag him. Um and yeah, you mentioned there was miscommunication between Kip and Luchasaurus throughout the
Kip
match.
got
So
busted open by his own partner.
yes, that's what I was getting at. Yeah, it was weird. They and every time he would tag him, he would like legitimately chop him.
Yeah. Like one of those unfriendly, forceful tags that you're like
Yes.
pissed off at me. Another thing I want to bring up is that now that he's popular, Christian is being serenaded by the London crowd
Yes.
um in a version of the Bailey song that the English UK crowd usually sings, except it's "Hey Christian, I wanna know if you'll be my dad."
Yes.
Oh
Yes,
my god,
that was
that was great.
very prominent throughout this match. There was a very weird spot where for some reason Kip Sabian ended up on Luchasaurus's shoulders.
Yeah, yeah, and
And
then I was like, "What are you guys doing?" I was trying to figure that out.
Cope hit a
Ended up
middle rope
going in
spear.
the doomsday device while
Yeah.
Luchasaurus had Kip on his shoulders.
Yeah,
What are you
it
guys
was a
doing,
spear.
man?
It was a spear, a middle rope spear, and he just took out both guys. And yeah, a lot of miscommunication. Obviously, the one thing that another thing that people were talking about a lot during this match was Mother Wayne and how she looked.
Oh
Cause
wow, yes, Mother Wayne.
god damn.
Yeah, like
But
forget about like the most over person in that group is Mother Wayne, obviously now.
yes. And the finish saw Christian um do like a pop up and then Cope hitting a spear in midair, which was really cool. These guys never really had like a signature double team, like
Mm.
ever. They were just a good tag team that had great chemistry. So it was cool that they just randomly pulled that out. Um, and yeah, they got the win here. And there has been some speculation that Jungle Boy Jack Perry is due back
Mm.
at some point. There was a video that they did to hype the return of Luchasaurus when it was announced that he was going to be replacing Nick Wayne, where there was like a doctor or like somebody that had a syringe or something, and people are speculating that that was Jack Perry.
That was
Uh,
administering the syringe to
yes,
revive Luchasaurus. Oh, interesting.
yes. So yeah, I
But
mean,
is Jack Perry when he comes back? Is he Jack Perry, the scapegoat, or is he Jungle Boy again? Is this a
yeah,
reunion with
I
Luchasaurus?
mean, maybe he's some kind of version. Like he doesn't have to be the scapegoat anymore because that character doesn't really make sense anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's been gone for a while, and I think it was because he was legitimately hurt.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm happy that he's coming back soon, and yeah, I would like to see him teaming with Luchasaurus again. I think that would be different for them to be teaming as a heel team. Um, and yeah, I mean, he doesn't have to be Jungle Boy. He can still be Jack Perry, but some newer version of it. But yeah, enjoyed this match for what it was, and of course, we're in the build to this match. the build to Christian and Cope teaming again. They of course talked about how Cope is going to help him with his Nick Wayne problem, and Christian is going to help Cope with his FTR problem. And they went right into that on Dynamite, like first thing.
Yes.
FTR.
They just kind of did well. What they did, I believe. Well, actually, we shouldn't talk about it because it'll give away the match later.
Yeah. All right. So
FTR did a bit. They went in there. They talked some smack at the referee.
Yep.
And then Cope and Christian come out.
And then Cope comes out by himself.
Oh wait, yes, that's right. Cope comes out by himself.
Cope comes out by himself and looks behind him like, "Hey, where's Christian?"
Yeah.
And then he happened to appear in the ring and give Stoke a kill switch. Yeah, and he was just dead for the rest of the segment,
right?
Which was hilarious. And then they just had this giant brawl, and Christian gets on the mic, and he's like,
"I understand, Dax, that you have a father." And the crowd now cheering. Yes. And then Cash, "I also understand you have a father." And then Adam takes the mic from him. He's like, "No, we're not doing this." And then
the fans are like, "No, we want to hear it. We want to."
And Cope's like, "Okay, he's
like, "You guys really are a bunch of sickos." Fine. And he puts his hand up and he's just like, "And that bitch is dead."
Oh my god! So I don't know anything about the real life situation of Dax and Cash's fathers, but
me neither. I mean, yeah, I'm sure Cope does because he's actually friends with them.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So this was great, and they brawled big time in the ECW arena, which was really cool. The match is official for All Out. FTR versus Cope and Christian.
In Toronto.
So you know that Cope and Christian are going to be over as hell there. And hopefully it's a hell of a match because FTR is great. Cope and Christian are great. So I'm actually very excited about that match. All right. The next match on Forbidden Door was probably one of the best matches on the show. It was the TNT Championship match.
Before we continue, let me just say the addition of Bryan Danielson on commentary.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely fresh air. Just something we needed to sort of change the dynamic a bit. Because I understand that Taz was not at this show. So he needed somebody to fill in for him.
He was unable to travel. I believe he had a medical thing. So yes, Bryan Danielson was on commentary for this show.
Of the card, except the very last match for obvious reasons.
Yes. And was giving great insight on literally everything.
Absolutely.
He was literally he was the voice of the fans.
Also, he wrestled at least half these people when he was still actively doing this. So he was able to provide some first-hand insight. I also love the dynamic between him and Don Callis. It was actually kind of amusing and funny. Yeah. Don did not come off as the straight up black and white heel commentator. He was actually putting Bryan over at some points. He was saying, "Danielson here traveled all over the world. Kyle's doing the same thing," or some other stuff like that.
Yeah.
I like the line.
I think at one point he offered to help train the Don Callis family, and he's like, I'll send you my fee or whatever.
At one point, Bryan was like, I understand that there was some interest from Taylor Swift for Kyle Fletcher. And then Excalibur's like, "Where did you hear that? From Dawn?" It was
yes.
Because that was precipitated by Dawn saying, "Kyle Fletcher here, what a handsome specimen of a man." Okay. Anyway. But yes, this match, great.
Hiromu Takahashi.
Yeah, actual somebody from New Japan.
Yes. versus Kyle Fletcher for the TNT Championship. This match was a lot of fun. Obviously, we are not surprised here. Hiromu has always been great, and Kyle Fletcher is really becoming one of the best singles guys in AEW right now, to the point where I don't think you can ever expect to see Aussie Open ever again.
Yeah, that's
Literally,
unfortunate. Like maybe do a one-off kind of thing, but
yeah,
unfortunately, Mark Davis has been plagued by injuries. He's actually
yeah,
part of the Don Callis family as well. It's just that,
yeah.
on the shelf as
But
well.
yes, this match was great. There was a lot of great technical work in this match, which fitting to have Danielson on commentary for it. Um, there was a lot of big moves. They did like this spinning back superplex, which was really cool. Um, and Danielson, of course, is known to do a back superplex and was very impressed by this variation.
Hmm.
Um, Kyle and Kyle and Hiromu were trading big moves. Kyle even hit the brainbuster on the apron at one point. And what? No, he tried to hit the brainbuster on the apron, and Hiromu like turned it into a DDT on the apron. It was crazy. It was a great spot, and followed it up with a sunset flip powerbomb onto the floor. Um, another that was a great spot. They did the old tombstone reversals thing where they kept flipping out of it, and then um, Kyle hit like a big spinning jumping tombstone, but got a near fall out of it. And then he hit multiple gamagiris in the corner to the front and to the back, and then hit a brainbuster. Uh, attempted a brainbuster, reversed it into a small package, and it was reversed into a small package. He kicks out and doesn't let go and turns that into a brainbuster and wins the match. And yeah, I love this match. I think it was one of the better matches. There's a couple of matches on this show that were just great for the wrestling. This is one of them, for sure. Uh, and yeah, I want to see more Hiromu. Um, obviously, he's been in New Japan for a while. Lij is no longer a thing because Naito is gone, and this guy has kind of just been spinning his wheels in the junior division for the longest time. He's bigger than the junior division now and should be doing more things like this and going for bigger titles in New Japan. And yeah, this was a good win to give to Kyle Fletcher. Of course, I don't think anybody expected Kyle Fletcher to lose here. This was just going to be a feather in the cap match for him, and that's fine because you needed matches like this on this card. It's supposed to be New Japan x AEW for a reason, for matches like this. And yeah, I think this match did exactly what it was supposed to do. Made everybody look good in it and gave Fletcher another big win. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it was a solid contest. I wasn't expecting Kyle to lose. It was a good showcase. An actual like AEW versus New Japan
Yep.
match on the main card. I mean there are others, but it was like one of the more prominent ones, obviously. And yeah, you're right. This Takahashi guy, they're saying he's like the Darby Allin of New Japan. So
To the point where every single year that we've done our fantasy booking,
yeah, you put in Darby Allin versus Hiromu Takahashi, which never
yes,
happens.
eventually it's going to happen. We're gonna get this match, and I'm not the only one who wants it. So
yeah,
it's gonna happen eventually. But yes,
yeah. Kyle's looking like he's putting a solid work. Like he actually like, you look at that whole group that Don's put together, and they're like wondering. At one point, some of these people are gonna break away, and I think you've offline mentioned to me Takeshita is looking like he's gonna at some point become the baby face. But I can see Kyle doing that also.
Yeah.
At some point, but not right now. Obviously, he's got this nice
So
title run going on. He's way
funny.
more effective as a heel.
Yeah. So since you mentioned Takeshita, I guess we could talk about this now. I mean, I guess we'll talk a little bit more. Actually, you know what? We'll save it for the Okada match.
Save it for the Okada thing. That's when he actually comes out. We'll talk.
Yeah, we'll save it for the Okada match.
Okay.
But yeah, this match ruled. I'm excited to see what else Kyle's gonna do with this belt. Yeah, and like I said, more Hiromu, because this guy's great. New Japan needs more big stars. He is a big star. So yeah, move him up to heavyweight. Do something with him. Do something big with him. All right. The next match on the card is a match that I was actually looking forward to. And I think surprised a lot of people because not everybody was familiar with everybody in this match, and it was kind of a coming out party for the people in this match. It is the TBS title Fatal 4-Way match. Mercedes Moné defending against Persephone, Alex Windsor, and Bozilla. So Bozilla is a second generation wrestler who got her start in Marigold. I think 2 years ago when Marigold started. She's very young. She's 21 years old. And I think this match was all everybody needed to become a big fan of Bozilla. I always thought she's been great. She she started in Stardom a few months ago. She was I believe she was also in the 5-Star Grand Prix, and Tony Khan wanted her immediately for this show. He can see how good she is. Obviously, I think after this match, everybody can see how good she is. Persephone, we've seen her on AEW and ROH a bunch. She's also very young and very good. She is 24, and a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, well, WWE's watching this show because they're gonna try to pick her up after Stephanie last year." But yeah, this match was a lot of fun. Mercedes was playing the chicken shit heel in this match so well throughout it because everybody in this match was bigger than her, literally. And she was just getting thrown around and screaming every time she got suplexed. It was hilarious. But yeah, this match was great. There was a point where
let's not forget that during this Forbidden Door weekend, sorry to interrupt, Mercedes, I believe, picked up her 9th title.
Oh, so yes. Well, let's talk about her entrance before.
Yeah. I can't remember which promotion this was, but yes, her entrance.
Yeah. So she got a 9th title, I think, specifically to make this entrance like symmetrical. Because she had 8 royal guards holding her other belts, and while she had the TBS belt around her waist. And if you follow her on social media, she is playing up this character a lot because she's asking fans to give her suggestions of other titles that she can win. And she's like, no belt, no match.
Like, no belt, no match.
Like, all she wants to do is win other belts, which is a great wrinkle to her character because obviously we talked about it when she challenged Toni Storm. Yes, it was for the biggest title in AEW, but to her, it was just another belt. Whereas Toni Storm made it feel like the belt because it's the only one that she wants. And now, because she lost that match, she's trying to fill the void with more belts.
At some point, like, she can't carry all of these. She's going to need an assistant. Like, someone needs to.
Yeah. obviously, I think that they're trying to get her to pass Jade Cargill's reign, and once that happens, I think that's when like the right person will come along to beat her for that belt, and that's when she'll start to lose all her belts.
Yeah, she's
And
getting close. She's going past 460 days as TBS champion. Jade's title reign was 508 days.
yes,
So
so I because of that, I there was no doubt in my mind that she was winning this match. Obviously, there was a chance that Alex Windsor could win, but um, I no way did I think that Persephone or Bozilla was going to win. This was kind of just a showcase for them,
yeah,
which was I think which was the point. But yeah, Bozilla looked great in this match. She did a lot of great power moves. She was a great base for everybody in this match. Um, and yeah, I think that this match is better than I think people give it credit. Because I've seen people say that this wasn't that great of a match. I thought it was great. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Um, but yeah, there was a point where Windsor, a spot that people are gonna not like because Tower of Doom spot, but I thought this one was more interesting. Like Alex Windsor was in the Tree of Woe, which is when a wrestler is upside down in the corner, and Bozilla had Persephone on her shoulders, and there was also a superplex on Mercedes, and uh, Windsor pops up and does like a German suplex to the entire Tower of Doom. I thought that was cool. That was a cool variation of the Tower of Doom spot. Even though I can't stand the Tower of Doom spot, I think the usual power bomb spot of that is pointless and doesn't make a lot of sense. Um, but I liked this one. There was a middle rope moonsault by Bozilla, and Bozilla does her moonsault very similar to like a Vader or Bam Bam Bigelow, which I think makes it look more impactful. Um, and yeah, I hope she continues to do that because it looks like it hurts when she does it. Yeah, Mercedes reversed a Tiger Bomb by Bozilla, a Liger Bomb by Bozilla, sorry, and hits a reverse Rana. And this spot was kind of a little concerning, not that much because I guess Mozilla couldn't get all of the rotation. So when she did the reverse Rana spot, she just did a back bump. Um, it still looked good for what it was, but yeah, she didn't get all of it on the flip part of that move. Um, but yeah, that was really good. Persephone hit a razor's edge on Bozilla. She has a great looking razor's edge. Um, and she turns a gory bomb into a razor's edge on Mercedes, but Mercedes reversed it into a pinfall to win the match. It was a sneaky small package win for Mercedes after, as I mentioned earlier, she spent most of this match getting thrown around by everybody and
yep.
screaming every time she would get suplexed, which was great. Um, so, your overall thoughts on this match?
I mean, I wasn't expecting Mercedes to lose.
Of
This was a
course.
good showcase. Alex Windsor is a nice addition to the roster. And yeah, I was like, Bozilla is definitely someone that's people are keeping their eyes on. She was in that Marigold promotion that started up a while ago before going over to Stardom. So obviously, I think if they were able to, WWE had their eyes on both Bozilla and Persephone, but I don't think I think they kind of tightened up the contract stipulations after the
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie for Care situation last year.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what's next for Mercedes. On Dynamite, they did her like championship celebration, and they just had the table with like all her titles on it.
Well,
You
she
you
said
didn't
that
have anyone.
she wants to get number 10 like Ultimo
Right,
Dragon.
right. Yeah, yeah.
And
She wants to break Ultimo Dragon's record. Yes.
and Renee, who interviewed her during the segment, specifically mentioned Alex Windsor. So I think that's going to continue.
Hmm.
Um, and Mercedes had like a dig at Alex Windsor about Will Ospreay because Will Ospreay loves to do Mercedes dance,
Oh, yeah.
and and she said something about don't worry, I'll put you in the hospital right next to him or something like that. Um, so yeah, it looks like Windsor and Mercedes is going to continue. I assume going into All Out, but I don't know if that's the match for All Out. It maybe put somebody else in the match down the line, but obviously we got a ways to go before All Out. We're like 3.5 weeks out, I believe.
Yeah, there's a
So
lot of women on the roster. It's just that they're all feuding with each other, and it's like,
yeah,
nobody's really looking like a contender at the moment.
yeah,
And
yeah. They got to build up some more people,
yeah,
which I think is going to happen over time with all these. We presume we're going to get a woman's blood and guts match because of the 8-woman tag we mentioned earlier. But yeah, I thought that this match was great. And yeah, I'm excited to see what Mercedes. It's crazy to me that there's still talk on the internet that Mercedes has creative control and that she's deciding when she wins these titles. That's just character stuff. Like obviously she's doing that to make people say that stuff because she knows that they're going to say it.
also, like, this is incredibly smart marketing from these like promotions where she has taken the belts off of. Like, their
Exactly.
title gets exposure on national television. Like, literally, they
And
were put on the table and filmed on live on TV at the 2300 arena, no
and she's
less.
giving exposure to the talent that she's facing. She's going out of her way to put over these people and on social media too. And she's not doing it just because she wants to win championships. She's doing it because she loves wrestling. And she doesn't book the shows. So
Yeah.
she could just show up at an indie and they can say, "Hey, do you want to win another belt?" Sure. Tony Khan doesn't have any say over that, and neither does Mercedes. So yeah,
So, but the way you said that now, it's just like, oh, Mercedes, so glad you're here. Do you want to pilfer our championship? Okay. Oh, yes, yes. Okay, go ahead. So it's not like it's not like she has the final say, but it's almost like they're like, oh wow, it's the great Mercedes Monet. I mean, she was on WWE. Yeah, we'll give her our title.
well, I mean, you didn't know about this random Scottish promotion last week, and now you do.
Yeah.
So
So that is a thing. So yeah,
yeah,
it's it's a
but
it's a curious thing going on right now. It's just that it just proves that she's pretty red hot at this point, and it proves that post WWE that they really had a demand for her.
yeah,
Makes me think, as an aside, man, if R-Truth actually just decided to go on the indies, he would be doing way much better now than what they have him doing.
and based
Anyway,
on
I digress.
based on some things that we've seen recently, I I am hoping to like whatever like that we get Bailey in AEW at some point because what she's doing now is not great. And she so Mercedes well, I don't know if Bailey does this or Mercedes. I think they both do it very sporadically, but one of them was doing a live stream and the other one came on it. And Mercedes was like, hey, so we should wrestle each other again. And Bailey was like, yeah, you never know. It might happen in 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, or maybe 1 year.
Oh,
So supposedly Bailey has a contract through next year. And from what I can tell, just by looking at her like mannerisms lately, it doesn't look like she's having fun right now. Like legitimately, not even just character. Like, I mean, yes, she's posting a lot of like her meet and greet stuff and like her fans giving her bracelets and stuff. And like there was like one photo that she posted where she had like 20 bracelets on. And I'm sure she loves that part, but the wrestling part, I think, is where she isn't feeling fulfilled, from what I could tell. So that's just my guess. I don't know that for a fact. I just hope that we get to see Bailey in another promotion down the line, and specifically this one because of Mercedes. So we'll see. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. All right. So the next match on the show is the World Tag Team Title match.
Actually, I think it's the match for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Zack
Is
Sabre
it?
Jr. Yeah,
Oh,
well, I
okay.
have it on my
You know
list.
why? You know why? You know why?
Uh-huh.
Because I didn't take a single note for this match because
Oh,
I just wanted to watch
okay.
it.
Zack
And
Sabre Jr. defended against the Nigel McGuinness.
yes, oh my god, this match. This was a for me match.
And
This,
the tribute they play to the legends of British wrestling. They had Johnny Saint and Marty Jones at ringside.
yes,
Yeah, Johnny Saint, as in former NXT UK general manager, Johnny
yes,
Saint.
uh-huh.
Anyway, yeah. So I guess the only thing that didn't make sense to me was Nigel asking Daniel Garcia to be like in his corner,
I don't know
and
why that
then
was necessary.
like
Especially,
watching Daniel was trying to do like heelish cheating stuff by like pushing the rope towards Nigel when he
yeah,
was caught in the
yeah.
submission. So it was like the referee saw that. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm like,
One of my favorite things about this match, and it wasn't even wrestling related, was Bryan Danielson being on commentary,
yeah.
and him going out of his way to be like, so I know that Nigel hasn't said a lot of favorable things about me on here, but I'm not going to do that. I
Because
think
I'm a
he's
good person.
I think he's great. And I think this is going to be a hell of a match. Like I love the high road Bryan Danielson. Like because he could talk shit about how he beat Nigel at
A
um
grand slam,
Grand Slam, right?
basically.
But he doesn't have to.
Yep.
He because he won. And Nigel was the one that wasn't happy after that match. So I just the fact that Bryan Danielson was on commentary for this match was perfect. He had insight about both guys, obviously facing Zach recently, having his history with Nigel, just his talking about their holds and how the transitions to the holds
Yep.
and everything that was happening in this match was it was great. I love this match. I knew I would love this match because of the people in it. It was great that they did the British wrestling tribute stuff. Nigel had a video in his entrance with Johnny Saint where they were playing chess.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah, that was it.
yes, yeah, that was cool. After this match happened, they did a British wrestling like photo shoot with Marty Jones and Johnny Saint and Zach and Nigel, and they were just talking about what those two meant to them growing up as British wrestling fans. And I believe Chris Hero was there also, just talking to
Yeah,
them.
he was he's basically a producer backstage now.
Yeah,
So
Chris
yeah.
Hero was there too, and just talking about like the importance of British wrestling and what they did for British wrestling and what it meant for everybody. And yeah, I just love this match so much. like I said, I like I've said a million times, like the technical, like this kind of technical wrestling is my shit. So whenever it happens like this, like Zach versus Brian, Brian versus Nigel, Nigel versus Zach, any variation, I I know that I'm going to enjoy this, and the whole reason I didn't take notes was because I just wanted to watch the match,
That's fine.
and like it was great. It was so good. Like this is again, I talked about during Hiromu and Fletcher. There's a couple of matches on this show that are just good because just flat out just really good wrestling, and this is another one. Um, yeah. Your overall thoughts on the match?
I mean, it's kind of what I expected. I don't think I was expecting Nigel to, in a sense, out wrestle Sack. Sack
Hmm.
has a probably one of the best technical wrestlers currently active. That the moves he comes up with are only exist in his mind, basically.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I did see Nigel seem to hold his own, at the end.
Yep.
Um,
The
at
best
the end of the
spot.
day, Zack Sabre Jr. matches don't end in like a knockout or some big time
Hmm.
finisher. It's just something as simple as a roll up or just like a submission, which I
Uh,
think this is how it ended, right? It ended on a tap out, I
yeah.
think. Yeah, it did.
The best spot was and this was pretty early in the match. They were kind of like trying like goading each other into doing stuff and getting cocky with each other, and they were in the corner, and Nigel got went out of his way to get like let Zach go in the corner, and he turned his back on him, and he started to gloat and put his arms up and whatever. And Zach tried to run at him, and he immediately hit a
Oh yes,
clothesline.
that's a spot, right? He
Yeah,
turned around, like fake, total fake out, and suddenly just turns around. That's just a spinning clothesline. Bam. Like,
yes,
okay, that's the spot I remember. I would remember.
yes. That was that was my favorite spot of the match by far. But yeah, I out of everything on the show, like, probably other than the main event, like it's this match and the main event are the matches that, and probably Kyle and Hiromu that I'm probably going to watch again. Like this match was great, and yeah, the Daniel Garcia element is interesting because there was a point where, as you mentioned, he was trying to cheat for Nigel and stuff, but like Zach didn't bring anybody. There was no like
Doesn't he
he
lead a faction called TMDK where
yeah, well
he's like,
that's what I was getting at. He didn't bring anybody, so I don't know why Nigel needed this. But after the match, they made it look like Daniel Garcia was upset that he lost, and
yeah, and then it was like
and
Daniel like hugged Nigel really hard.
yeah, so they're teasing. I think they're teasing that we're gonna get a turn of Daniel Garcia down the line. He had a match with John Moxley on Dynamite following this show, which he lost, and he cut this really passionate promo about how he's the problem, and he knows what he has to do, and he has to be better and do better, and
Mhm.
the turn is coming. Obviously, the Don Callis family has tried to recruit him as well, because every wrestler is going to be in the Callis family. It's going to be like the NWO at some point.
Oh God.
I'm just joking. I hope not, but yeah. So the Daniel Garcia heel turn is coming. Uh, when I don't know, but yeah, this was a lot of fun. All right, now it's time to talk about the tag title match. Sorry
Yes.
about that confusion. Um, yes, so it was a triple threat match, and I hate. All right, so a couple of things. There's going to be some things in this match that I don't like, and some of the things in the build to this match that I do not like because we all saw it coming from a mile away. They have this tournament for the number one contendership for this match we all knew that once Brodito got over the way that they did, that they were going to do this draw in the finals. And I think that they are doing that too frequently. AEW needs to. I understand that they don't want to do these DQ finishes, or they don't want somebody to get pinned who shouldn't get pinned or whatever. Doing a time limit draw just as like a story element this frequently is getting annoying. And that match was great. Brodito had amazing matches in this tournament with FTR and the Young Bucks specifically. And when they made this a triple threat, obviously my concern was what we got, which we talked about numerous times. I've talked about it at length so many times. I hate these triple threat matches where there's only 2 people in the ring. Hate it. Why isn't there 3 people in the ring? And you can tag your own partner. It doesn't make sense.
I'm trying to remember how this match started, because it started almost like tornado style where there was no tags.
Well, there was a brawl. It was just a brawl. It was just a brawl to start the match, but then it just turned into the triple threat tag that we always get, where there's only 2 guys in the ring, and then there's one team just completely on the apron.
Right, because it's like, Lashley was trying to tag in either FTR and they didn't want a piece of whatever. Or no, Bandito was trying to tag out on FTR and they didn't want a piece of the Hurt Syndicate. And it's like, I was watching an indie show last weekend, and I think they had a triple threat tag team match, and I think they did it tornado style, where it's like all 3 teams were just like brawling all over the place. It was like GCW-esque all over, and it was just like that was. And I thought, okay, if your triple threat match by definition is no DQ, you might as well just make it a tornado tag if it's gonna be a tag team match.
Also, there was some bad promotion for this match because the social media team said that this was elimination.
Whoops.
It was not elimination. It was one fall. It was one fall to a finish. So there was some confusion about that as well. And to the point where everybody was like, did I imagine that they promoted this as an elimination match? But they definitely did promote this as an elimination match. So there was some shit there. I don't know why that happened. Right. Some miscommunication with the social team, I guess.
Yeah.
But so this match was very good for what it was. The Hurt Syndicate continues to just they're killing it. They look great in this match. There was a point where, like, obviously, like, we were gonna get the the clash between Bobby and Brody, and freaking Shelton did 3 consecutive German suplexes to Brody. That was crazy. Like, these men are 50. Like, Shelton is 50 and Bobby is, I think, turning 49. Like, it's crazy that they're at this level, at this age, that they're in better shape than some of the 20-year-olds on this roster. Like, they just can't stop. And notable by his absence, MVP, nowhere to be seen during this match.
So they never really explained. I just realized they never really explained that until on Dynamite, and at least on the social media clip. So yeah, this match was great. But interestingly enough, the Hurt Syndicate were not the ones to take the pin to lose their titles to Brodito eventually, because a bunch of masked men came out and
wearing New Japan jackets.
So everybody got confused for a second. I was like, "What are these guys?" Suddenly they take their hoods off, and it's Bishop Khan and Toa Leona.
Yep.
And then it's okay. I don't know what just happened.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, we both disappeared.
You crapped out for a second on my end.
Yeah. Okay. My internet is it doesn't. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're on a tape delay. It looks like on
Well,
my end.
that's weird.
Anyway, I was saying that yeah, Brodito ended up becoming the new AEW World Tag Team titles. Yeah, but to your point, yeah, it's like sometimes I get concerned about these teams that get put together. Even though I know that I'm now aware that Brody King and Bandito were longtime friends for a while, so they probably wanted to do this team for a bit.
Yeah.
And with Matthews out of the picture physically, they had to find somebody to fill that spot.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean,
I mean, got another single champion with a tag belt.
so yeah, I mean, who knows what happened at Death Before Dishonor tonight, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying the reason the Hurt Syndicate were not a factor in the decision was that they were taken away basically by Ricochet and GOA. And then,
Yep.
so people were like, afterwards, they played a clip of Ricochet just showing on his phone that time when he tried to join the Hurt Syndicate, and MVP
Yep.
told him nobody likes a pissant kiss ass, which at the time that's what Ricochet was doing. He was trying to kiss up to MVP, and that was the wrong approach.
Yep.
But this also happened like 8 months ago, so it's like, dude, like you took as long as the birth of a baby to like get revenge.
Well,
Which you look at
he
it,
had to get backup first.
he had to get backup because yeah. Now that I think about it, yeah, he had to get backup because he was like going on for a while saying, "Oh, I need some backup. I need a crew. I need a team." Right. Um, and so what apparently happened is, uh, Ricochet somehow had connections with the customs people at the airport and figured out how to use MVP's prior criminal record as a way to prevent him from entering the United Kingdom. So
Uh-huh.
that's how Lashley and Shelton
Well,
showed up
of
by
course,
themselves.
this was done storyline
Yes,
because
yes,
MVP has been to the UK like over a dozen times. So this is
right.
not like
And
anything like
so
yeah.
as revenge for costing them the world tag team titles, Ricochet and when his boys were getting their trios title match on Dynamite, it was the Hurt Syndicate. Oh no, it was MVP that came out while Ricochet was on the top rope about to do a flying spot, and he just beamed him in the back with his cane, which then
Mhm.
cost him the match. And then
Yes.
afterwards, the Hurt Syndicate came out, and Ricky was not in any physical condition to do anything. He was knocked in the back of the head with a cane. He was just he basically fainted while GOA and the Hurt guys were just brawling
Yeah.
to the back.
So some notable moments during this match. Brody King did a suicide dive on
Yeah,
literally everyone. And then freaking Bandito does his fall away moonsault spot on the top rope to everybody to the outside. Um, Brody King took an unprotected chair shot to the face
oh,
and then got up and it still did the finish. Um, but
I believe the
FTR
finish
attempt,
was. I believe the finish
so
was.
FTR attempted the powerplex,
Yeah,
which is a superplex splash combo, but Bandito intercepts Cash and hits a frog splash on Dax after hitting the superplex, and then Brody set up for that monkey flip double team that they do, which is a hit or miss move. It doesn't look great every single time they do it.
yeah, it
Um,
looked kind of messy that finish.
yeah, they have to work on the timing of that because and the alignment of it. Um, because this one did not look great. I believe when Bandito did it, he landed on his knees. But then something happened toward like at the finish where uh Cash was trying to run back in to break the pin and he like got caught on the rope or something. So the finish didn't look great. But I think all around this was a good match. I just cannot stand those multi-team tag rules. I can't stand them. Just have 3 people in the ring so you can tag your own partner. I don't understand why that is so hard. And why we have to do this 2 people in the ring thing, and you have to do these random blind tags. I hate it. I hate it. So yeah, Brodito are the tag champs, which is cool. I think that, I mean, obviously another Dove cries. A singles guy is holding a tag belt. But it's the ROH belt, which they clearly do not care about. Because otherwise he wouldn't be in a tag team. He would be defending that belt all the time, instead of just randomly on a Death Before Dishonor show that's happening while we're recording this. Even though his match with Takeshita is probably up there for like match of the year. And I'm sure he's going to have a hell of a match with Hechicero that we're going to watch in a couple of minutes while like time of recording. But yeah, Brodito and obviously there's a lot of guys that are out right now, and Brody just seems like a guy that you can elevate to like a big singles push down the
So a
line.
lot of people are saying because of the various injured top guys in AEW at the moment, we'll get into that at the main event or when we get closer to the end. Brody King is definitely looking like a guy to push. Like he has the potential to do that because I mean, just by process of elimination at this point.
Yeah.
Due to injuries, like literally just injured people.
And Buddy Matthews, like we mentioned earlier, like it's very unfortunate his injuries, like getting injured in that on that Australia show, probably like made him feel horrible, and like his like healing is not going the way he had hoped. So yeah, I obviously this is cool for Brodito. I just another team of 2 singles guys holding tag belts when AEW used to be the place for tag team wrestling. Obviously, Brodito's a great team, and I think they're going to have great matches with, you know, other teams in this division.
I feel like since the Young Bucks like secured 3 reigns as AEW World Tag Team Champions, they haven't figured out what's the next team that can like.
Well, also they're trying. They're also trying not to shove Young Bucks versus FTR down our throats.
Yeah.
Which
that's why they're both heel teams at the moment. So it's like,
yeah, and
someone else
obviously, I love both of those teams, and they've had great matches together. But I don't need to see them face each other once a year. Like, you can spread it out, and give some other teams some shots. And I get that that's what we're doing here, but it's annoying that that's the ROH champion is also an AEW tag champion. So moving on to the next match, and that next match is for the unified title. Kazuchika Okada defending against Swerve Strickland. So
with continental rules in place, so
yes,
no interference from anyone.
So no interference from anybody. That's why there was nobody at ringside.
However, I will say I still don't understand why this unified title is not just one belt, but is basically free.
Yes, but Okada doesn't hold those other 2 belts. Don Callis does.
Why?
I don't know. I agree.
Okada's continental reign is currently peaking at 528 days.
I completely
a unification match.
Yes, I completely agree with you. I don't need those other 2 belts when we had a unification match. That was the whole point. But regardless, this match was great. To nobody's surprise, Swerve and Okada work great together. Swerve is one of the best guys they have in AEW. Obviously, Okada is starting to feel like Okada again. And we thought we were going to get that with the Kenny match. That ended up not being their best match ever, but it was still a great match. And yeah, Okada is finally on the level I think that we wanted him to be on. for the longest time. But yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of this match, and they told a story throughout this match because obviously Swerve is hurt, and they played into that throughout the match, targeting not only the injured knee throughout the match, but also working the neck throughout this match. And Swerve is just really good at telling a story in the ring, and he did that throughout this. And that played into the finish as well. Like when he was trying to hit multiple house calls, and Okada just went for the knee and followed it up with the Rainmaker. And I think this match was great. Unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be a one and done because so we'll talk about the post match and then we'll talk about what followed. So the post match, after the match,
right? So remember, Continental rules forbade anyone from interfering during the match.
Yes.
So match is over. Okada wins again. He then proceeds to severely injure Swerve's leg, and then just basically left Swerve unable to move.
Yep.
And then out of the corner of our eyes, we see just out of nowhere, after what feels like 2 years away from the ring, Wardlow shows up.
Yep. Wardlow's back, and he
not even masked or anything. He wasn't even not like some mystery guy just jumped in. He just comes in. Wardlow, it's me, Wardlow.
Yep. And he beat the shit out of Prince Nana.
Yep.
And made Swerve watch. And then after he did that, he hugged Don Callis.
Hugged Don Callis, hugged Okada, and now the Don Callis family's newest member,
hugged everybody.
Mr. Wardlow, hugged everybody except Takeshita.
Yes. So obviously we teased this earlier. So Takeshita just won the G1 Climax and is going to challenge for the IWGP World Championship. Normally, the winner of the G1 faces the champion at Wrestle Kingdom, but apparently he is going to do exactly what Zach did last year and have his match early. And there's a lot of speculation that if he wins, who he will face at Wrestle Kingdom. Also, another note, why wasn't Takeshita booked on this show? I mean, he was on freaking Collision the day before this, or 2 days before this, against Ishii. He had a random match against Ishii on Collision, but you didn't book him on this? Like, that's crazy. What, like it, and obviously it wasn't because he couldn't work. He needed a break from after the G1. He had a match right after on Collision. So, like, I mean, you could have even had that match on this show. Like,
I mean, you kind of slotted him into that pre-show, I guess. Like maybe just take out Josh and put in Takeshita teaming with Hechicero. You know,
yeah.
I mean, Dawn has like a murderous role of like top stars in his group, so it's like, it's a ridiculous the amount of people he's got now.
And Rocky Romero,
yes, who has managerial skills. So if Dawn's away, Rocky can manage this group, which includes Lance Archer, and I'm including everybody that's injured as well. Brian Cage, Mark Davis, Takeshita, Josh, Kyle Fletcher, Hechicero, Wardlow, and Okada. Like, that's an insane amount of talent.
And
Rocky Romero, yes. Oh, yes, and Trent.
Yes. Trent.
Which is like he's there, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. But Trent and Rocky are literally.
So I think what you are alluding to is that there could be a potential Wrestle Kingdom dream match between Takeshita, should he be successful in winning the IWGP World title.
So against Okada and Takeshita do not get along. that is very evident. They
Well, Takeshita apparently has like gave a bit of a side eye to Wardlow. He's the only one that didn't hug him. I'm not sure
yeah
what's going on over there. Like you're already not liking one guy in the group. Like, why are you trying to start beef with another guy?
yeah.
After
So
everybody hugged him and you don't hug him, it's kind of visibly
then
obvious.
so they had a match on Dynamite where they teamed
Yeah.
Takeshita and Okada.
Yes.
Uh, and there was a point where everybody on Okada's team was doing like a splash in the corner, and yeah, we'll talk about that thing you're reacting to in a second.
Yeah. Sorry, just an aside. While we've got ROH on, the infantry and Shane Taylor have won the ROH 6-man titles.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there was a point where everybody on the Don Callis family was doing like a corner spot, and everybody was hitting a move in the corner. And Takeshita hits one, and then Okada went to do it right after him, and Takeshita moved the opponent out of the corner, and Okada just like shook his head and like
So what I even noticed before was when they started walking to the ring, and then Don like stood between Okada and Takeshita as if like trying to keep those two guys
yeah
physically apart from each other. And then
yeah.
at the moments when they were like nose to nose, when they're like, there's something happened, and then they were like, jaw jacking each other. Don like literally got off the commentary and just tried to keep the peace because he's knowing this is a powder keg waiting to explode.
Well, yeah, and as we
It's,
mentioned
it's
earlier,
gonna happen.
so Swerve just had knee surgery. He's going to
Mhm.
be out for a little while.
Yep.
And Osprey is going to have neck surgery. He's going to be out for quite a while. There is some spots open in the babyface realm, and we've been saying for years since Takeshita became Don Callis's number one guy for a while that there is a super babyface run in there eventually, and it's happening. It's happening now because obviously we can see Don Callis is getting more chummy with Okada to the point where he's putting Okada over more than he's putting over Takeshita. And obviously Takeshita doesn't like that. And yeah, so I think that's what's going Takeshita is finally going to break away from Don Callis. Obviously, it's gonna happen. Takeshita is great at literally everything, and he we want to cheer for him. He's an amazing wrestler, and yeah. So there has been some speculation on if Takeshita wins the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship from Zack Sabre Jr., who he would face at Wrestle Kingdom. Because unfortunately, Zack versus Takeshita in a rematch is not a Wrestle Kingdom main event. I'm sure it's going to be a great match, but we don't want to see it again at Wrestle Kingdom. We want to know and of course there's other names that are on the come up in New Japan. Shota Umino, he had his main event last year but it didn't win. Maybe he
Yep.
has another match and wins this time.
We mentioned
Yo,
Hiromu earlier.
Yoda Suji. Yoda Suji
Yeah.
is pegged to him, Umino, and to a lesser extent, but eventually Ren Narita, and like all these guys are going to be big stars in New Japan. So sure, if Takeshita wins the IWGP title, he could have matches against any one of those people. Not Ren Narita, but the prospect is there of Okada having a triumphant return in New Japan, whether it's for one night or just for a run or whatever, and that is our Wrestle Kingdom main event. Because you can't have a bigger main event than that, Takeshita versus Okada. Of course, I'm sure Tony Khan would love to have that match in AEW. So maybe there's a possibility of that not happening, but you can't have a bigger Wrestle Kingdom main event than that right now. Like, especially if Takeshita wins the belt. So yeah, I obviously we're building to that match happening, and it's gonna hopefully be a hell of a match. And yeah, I'm excited about that, about the prospect of that. All right, so we're down to the last three matches of the show. The three big ones, essentially, the ones that were
Basically, the triple main event that they like to call.
yes, and these were built as the bigger matches of the show, and they were put together pretty early in the build to this show, which was when we started to realize that we weren't going to get a lot of New Japan guys on this show.
Mm-hmm.
So the next match is for the AEW Women's Championship. Timeless Toni Storm defending against Athena. Athena got this match because she executed her Casino Gauntlet contract.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of discourse when Athena won that match because people thought that Mercedes should have won that match. That Mercedes should have won the belt to face Athena. And people wanted to see Athena versus Mercedes for the world title. And so when Tony retained, which I completely expected Tony to retain, they were like, oh, well, what's the story between her and Athena? There is no story. Obviously, you build a story. The story is that Athena wants to win another belt on top of already having that belt for 1,000 days. And she's thinks she's the better wrestler. She thinks she's the better all-around talent. And I thought this match was great as well. And I was actually surprised by the result because of Toni Storm is bigger than the belt now. Her character, her ability, everything, she doesn't need a championship anymore. I get that it's a big deal when somebody beats her, and that's great. But I thought that it would have been a big push in the right direction for Athena to win here because she could lose the ROH title anytime after winning the world title. Whether you could have a multi-person match and she doesn't get pinned. Something like that. And I thought that it made the most sense for Athena to win here, but that didn't happen. And I still enjoyed the hell out of the match. But yeah, obviously people have made the argument like, well, she shouldn't win the world title until she loses the ROH title, which is a valid argument, and I get that. If that's the case, she shouldn't have challenged for it while she still had the ROH title. Because obviously, in the build to this, she was completely putting the ROH title on the back burner. Because we all want Athena to be an AEW full time. I mean, obviously she has been in the build to this. In the build to this, she has been. But at the same time, then she also has to defend the ROH belt. And she's held that thing longer than anybody ever. She doesn't need it anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know who beats Toni Storm now. And that's fine. But yeah, this match was great. They had a lot of great back and forth action. There was a spot they went outside at one point and the screen on the barricade turned off. And Athena got thrown into the barricade and the screen came back on. So that was and the crowd actually popped for that. And yeah, I thought that Athena looked great. The thing that I didn't like was the fact that Billy Starks was here. And we had the interference. And Mina Shirakawa, of course, made the save because she obviously is good friends with Tony and was going to be challenging for the ROH title anyway. Um, so I just didn't need that portion of the match. Tony has kind of like put Luther on the back burner for the time being. So I like why do we need interference at all? Why couldn't we just have a match?
So yeah, I know what you said about Billy. So at one point she was interfering, and then Mina Shirakawa came out.
Yep,
I guess took away the chair that Billy was trying to use, and then
yep,
basically chased her to the back, which was a smart
yep,
thing to do because you don't want to like do something and mess up the match. So that was a
yep,
playoff on Mina versus Athena tonight.
yep.
Um, but yeah, overall, yeah, this was a solid match. I think once I saw that happen with Billy Starks being run off,
Yeah.
and I think at one point did Tony kick out of the O face?
So she
I-
did an O face onto the ropes. Like
Okay.
she didn't hit one in the ring. She like when Tony was distracted when Billy Starks was being taken out by Mina, um off camera, like Athena just flew in and hit one on the ropes. So it wasn't
Mhm.
like a full fledged O face. It was just like it was almost like a guillotine onto the ropes, but in
Oh,
like
oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So she ended up trying to do it again, but Tony reversed it into the TMC chicken wing and winning by submission.
Hmm.
Um, so that was interesting to have Athena tap there. Um, but yeah, I like I said, this was a very good match. I just thought that it was time to do something different. Because yeah, Tony does not need the belt anymore. Um, you can do other things with her. I don't know right now who you build up to face to have her face it all out.
Yeah, like this goes
Um,
back to the same problem I mentioned earlier with Mercedes. List of challengers are there are potential challengers, but nobody is being built up as an actual challenger at this point, or someone credible.
yeah, there's been talk that because Chris Statlander has been having these like interactions with the Death Riders,
Hmm.
that maybe she'll be the one. Which I think it would be interesting. That would be interesting storytelling. I mean, Mox is seemingly trying to recruit Chris Statlander, um, and obviously that could be good, a good story element to get Willow involved to save her friend from the Death Riders, um, from being corrupted, kind of thing. Um, so maybe Chris is the one to beat Tony. That would be big for her.
Mm.
Um, because yeah, and I've even heard talk of like Megan Bain should have got like it would have been huge if Megan Bain had beaten Tony and had like a quick like month or two long reign just to be like, oh, Tony wasn't able to prepare for this, but then Tony did prepare and got the title back. They could have did that. They could have did something like that. I think it's okay to have shorter title reigns here and there. Not every title reign needs to be a year long. Um, so yeah, I think that Tony's reign doesn't need to last until you know when she won it back, which was Revolution, I believe.
Um,
So
yeah, I think so. Let me. Yeah, yeah. It was during the final the Hollywood ending match, right?
yeah, yeah.
No, no, no.
So
Sorry, she won it at Grand Slam Australia in February, and the Hollywood ending match was the rematch
yeah,
between her and Mariah
that's
May,
correct. That is
which
correct.
ended the rivalry. Yes.
Yes, that is
Also a
correct.
match of the year
Yeah.
2025 candidate.
Yes. So, well, I like I said, I don't know where Tony goes from here. Um, her and Alex Windsor have like a budding like friendship. Um, yeah, Deanna is back in ROH. She is in the Pure title tournament. Because we needed a Pure women's championship.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And that's another name. Deonna Purrazzo, obviously been absent from AEW for quite a while. She's been doing a lot of indie dates.
Yep. Well, she's on ROH right now. She's staring down Queen Amanada, who just won the
yes,
match in the tournament.
First round in the tournament. Yeah,
first round.
I'm sure Deanna's gonna have a long run in that tournament, and that's great. But you could also build her up again for the world title down the line. I don't need. I mean, she doesn't have to face Toni Storm again, but yeah, we'll see what happens with the with the women's world title, obviously. But I don't think that Tony's reign is going to last much longer, in my opinion. I don't know, but we'll see. All right, all right. So we're at the world title match. MJF challenging Adam Hangman Page. The stipulation. All right.
So by the way, this is not MJF's Casino Gauntlet Championship match. He still has that.
Yes. So all right. So the build to this match was a lot.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this was going on before even Hangman won the world title. I feel like it's been.
Yes. So MJF was teasing, like, obviously challenging Hangman again at some point, even before he won the belt, because he was upset that Hangman beat him the last time they faced, which was Double or Nothing, right? And they obviously went their separate ways, and MJF was feuding on and off with Mark Briscoe and is still feuding on and off with Mystico. So MJF was essentially using the Hurt Syndicate to get here. We all knew that. And they just kind of put that aside. And he's no longer associated with the Hurt Syndicate. And they essentially had a match where, like, because Mark Briscoe was winning a lot of matches, and they essentially had a one-on-one match where the winner could face Hangman for the title. But MJF hadn't really won a lot of singles matches, so Hangman didn't want to give him a title shot. He said the only way you're going to get a title shot is if you execute that contract, because you haven't earned it.
That's true. Makes total sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And because MJF hadn't won a lot of singles matches because he was palling around with the Hurt Syndicate for a while, so he has this match with Mark Briscoe, and they do stupid shenanigans where Mark Briscoe's foot was on the rope, but the ref didn't see it, and MJF noticed it before the ref did, so he moved his foot, and nobody said anything. They just let that result stand. And because Mark Briscoe had won a bunch of singles matches and probably would have gotten a title shot if he had won this match. So in the build to this, obviously, Hangman uses Max's insecurities against him to get him to execute the contract, which MJF is prone to falling for a lot. It happens often. MJF didn't like this, of course. So, to get his revenge, he recruits Ricochet and the GOA, because Ricochet also had a spat with Mark Briscoe, and recruits them, and was going to set Mark Briscoe on fire if he did not get what he wanted, which was he wanted a couple of stipulations for their match. The first thing was the title could change hands via countout or disqualification. And then the other thing was that he could get the title match without executing the contract. Of course, Hangman obliges because he didn't want Mark Briscoe to get set on fire.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that they could have did like a story element of this where like Mark Briscoe could have pulled Hangman aside and be like, man, he played you. That wasn't gasoline. Like something like that. But they didn't do anything like that. They kind of just let it sit. And Hangman got duped by MJF. So they have the match, and the match is fine for the most part. But the problem is they put the stipulation on it that the title changes hands via disqualification, and the ref is just letting table bumps happen, and there's weapons everywhere, there's interference. There was multiple points where the disqualification should have happened. And I get referee's discretion. AEW
Wait,
loves
who interfered in this match? I can't remember actually.
So Mark Briscoe. Well, we'll talk about
Mark Briscoe came up, but he didn't touch anybody.
No, well, he didn't touch anybody, but like there was it was mostly the tables and the weapons and stuff.
Right.
Like obviously, and I get referee's discretion. AEW loves to throw that term around, and that's fine. But you can't have this kind of stipulation and then just let that stuff happen. Like that doesn't make any sense. Then like so
I will I will say, aside from all that, with shenanigans and all the foreign objects crap, like MJF wrestled a decent match. Like he pulled off moves. It was
of course. MJF is a great wrestler, and I don't think it's fair.
He can do these things, but he chooses not to as the narrative. He chooses to
I don't think it's fair that like social media goes out of their way every time MJF has a like match like this to say like, oh, see, he's not a great wrestler. See, that's not the case. He is a great wrestler. They just choose to do these stupid shenanigans in all of his matches when they don't have to.
Right.
And
at this point, they should just change referees because Bryce Remsburg has seen every MJF ploy. That he has obviously knows what's going on. The Dynamite Diamond ring, all the low blow shit, other shit.
The missing the rope break stuff, and so that spot comes into play again in this match. So. And that's when Mark Briscoe comes out because he's like, I'm not going to let this happen. I'm not going to let you take the title from Hangman after everything he's been through, doing what you just did to me. And Mark Briscoe comes out, but security like completely stops him from entering the ring and everything. And there's a ref bump. And at one point, like, so Bryce is just out. And Max has a pin, and once again, foot on the ropes, but the 3 is counted, but the bell doesn't ring because Bryce didn't call for the bell.
Yeah. He was blinded or something. Yeah.
He counted the 3 and then he passed out again for a second. And that was weird because he counted 3.
Right. I don't know. Yeah, automatically the bell should just ring, right?
Yeah. So I didn't like that because the ref's hand hit the mat.
Meanwhile, Heyman's still out, his foot is still on the rope. And then I did like the part where like Max saw it and he tried to get Heyman's foot off the rope at the same time Bryce comes to and sees, hey, what are you doing? And then Max looks like he just got caught, like, masturbating in his room by his mom. They're like, oh shit. He's like, what are you doing? What's his foot on the rope? He's like, no, his foot is on the rope. And he's like, this match is not over. It's not over.
Yeah. So then the match continues, and of course, Hangman gets the upper hand.
Yep. And ironically,
uses
MJF's contract clipboard, which is heavy plastic, whatever,
metal,
cracks him over the head, which by the definition of this rules of this match should have resulted in a disqualification and a title change.
Yeah.
The one time the referee didn't see it.
Yeah. So, and then he hits the buckshot and he wins.
Yes.
So, yeah, I
that was exhausting. And there
yeah,
was blood
we
too.
just like we
Did
just
they need the blood because Max was bleeding?
we just didn't need all these shenanigans. We could have just had a match, just a wrestling match. No tables, no interference, no nothing. Because if you're gonna put that stigma of that stipulation of the title can change hands via counter or disqualification, there should be no weapons at all. No weapons. Like,
so I would think that this is why Maxwell had that tantrum of a post-match promo when he just lit off, and now it looks like he's going to focus his attention on Mark Briscoe and just take care of that business, because now he went from just dismissing Mark Briscoe to now he wants to kill Mark Briscoe.
And he's still working pretty frequently in CMLL.
And he still has this casino contract, which I believe Tony Khan in the post show press conference tried to address, and now the rule is all contracts have to be executed they have to give 1 week's notice before executing the contract. So no more so now he can't just use that like money in the bank. It's more like the Lucha Underground. They used to have a thing called the Gift of the Gods title. Which would allow you to have a world title match, but you have to give 1 week's notice for promotional.
I like this better simply because it differentiates from Money in the Bank. AEW doesn't need to have their version of Money in the Bank.
Right.
They have their gimmick with the gauntlet, and that's working. People like that match. The Casino Gauntlet is great. That's their thing. So it doesn't need to be used like Money in the Bank. Be different. Don't do stuff that WWE does. So I like that. And so eventually that obviously he still has the contract, so he will still use it at some point. Whether it's, is he going to wait for a Long Island show? Is he going to wait for All Out? I don't know when the next Long Island show is, so I have no idea. But so MJF still has the contract, and Hangman seems to be moving on to the Callis family. Because Don Callis came out during Hangman's promo on Dynamite and said, "Hey, any guy in my group could challenge you and beat you because we got all the backup or whatever." And then a thing happens that just is so aggravating. Kenny Omega comes out to help because there is just nobody else that Kenny Omega can feud with except for the Elite or the Callis family. There's nobody else.
Kenny Omega coming out looking like either a dehydrated Jerry Lynn or Triple H from 2002 deflated somehow.
So Kenny Omega will be forever tied to Don Callis. It's never going away.
By the way, Kenny is not medically cleared as far as I know. Well, so is he back on the show, or is he just gonna take more time off? Because I heard he was supposed to.
Well, he appears that he's going to be around for a little while for this, but yeah, and it's the first time that Hangman and Kenny have been pictured together
since
like 3 years,
2021, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, that's an interesting element, but I just can't stand that Kenny Omega is still feuding with the Callis family. Like, can we stop? Can he do something else? Like, there's a big roster that he could be feuding with. I mean, I get it. It's to do the Hangman stuff.
Well, I mean, it's not a complete loss, because it looks like Josh Alexander tweeted out a photo after this, and it's like, I've been waiting like 4 years for this. It was a throwback to when.
Well, because they never got to face in Impact. They never got to face in TNA.
No, they did exactly the TNA AEW short-lived partnership in which Kenny Omega as world champion had an interaction with Josh when he was the X Division champion. So they never really fought each other, and now the opportunity is here.
So I'm sure that'll be a hell of a match. I actually want to see Kenny versus Josh Alexander, but
you're just sick of him feuding with Don Callis' people.
Yes.
Which is a very diverse group of people. But as you said, at some point, half the roster is going to be part of Don Callis' family. So it's like you can't escape it, right?
Yeah, really.
Speaking of Kenny Omega.
All right. So that is the perfect segue to talk about the main event. And the main event, of course, was the lights out steel cage. What was it? 8-man tag here.
There was no tags. There was 5-on-5. It was
5. It was 5. Yeah.
It's
all right. So you had so in the build to this match.
Yeah,
all right. Well, hold on.
Go to the build first. Okay.
Yeah. So in the build to this match, obviously Will Ospreay let us know about his neck injuries, and we were not sure if he would be able to appear on the show. He obviously wanted to appear on this show because of the UK element and the possibility of him not being able to wrestle again for a while. So he is the one who put the stipulation in place to take out the Death Riders. And before this match, like, we had no idea who was going to be in this match. Obviously, we knew that it would just be the Death Riders and Gabe Kidd and whoever was on Will Ospreay's team. Darby Allin was a lock because he got involved and everything. But just randomly, we had no idea that just randomly Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kenny Omega, and Kota Ibushi with no build are just going to be in this match. Obviously, we knew Tanahashi would be on this show. That was teased months ago. They wanted his last show in London, his last show in the UK for AEW on this show. Yeah, I wasn't expecting him to be in a match like this. Obviously, I was expecting him to be in like a tag match, a standard tag match, or even a singles match. But
that would be so out of place in this kind of match, right? Too.
Yeah. And then Kota Ibushi, when he was announced for this match, literally found out when it was announced. He tweeted that he had no idea he was going to be in this match. And and then it was just weird that we had no inkling that these three people were going to be in this match until the match was announced.
You would have expected Will Ospreay, Darby, and teaming with the Ops or something. That would have made
sense. That's what I expected.
Right?
And that's what I like. But of course, I get wanting to have these three guys in this match. That's great. I mean, Tanahashi cannot walk. He can't. He's like,
I mean, yes, he was doing something that got him down to the ring, but it was apparently not walking.
Yeah.
And judging by
there was a point during this match where he wanted to commit suicide by climbing the cage, and
like all his team was like, "Sir, Tanahashi, sir, President, Mr. President, do not,
please don't.
Sir, you run a wrestling company now. You are the president."
Yes. So earlier in the show, yes, it's a lights out steel cage, which is essentially it's like a Hell in a Cell but no roof. And,
also, the promotion is not liable for what happens in the ring.
Of course.
And a nice little acknowledgement of that is they removed the AEW logo off of the mat and just had a plain mat. So that's insane. This is not.
Yes. And Bryan Danielson, this was the only match that he did not do commentary on for obvious reasons.
Right.
And a lot of people thought that meant he was going to come out during this match, but that didn't happen, of course. But yes, so even before this match happened, earlier in the night, the Young Bucks went up to a producer, like a props guy, and was like, You get us everything that we need for this match, and you're gonna play our old music and none of this nonsense or whatever. And
Okay, the guy, he asked the producer, fill this bag up with one of the most violent
yeah,
shit you
yeah,
can possibly. And there was a table of like broken glass, thumbtacks, sharp objects,
yes.
and it looked like
So
he was filling them up.
so
And they've
first,
been running this for weeks now, where
yes,
because they're no longer the EVPs, the producers like are basically
are
half-assing their entrances.
half-assing their entrances, their everything. And apparently this is the Young Bucks idea, which is great. I love it. Um a lot of people are saying, like, if we knew that Swerve and Ospreay were going to be taking time off, it kind of would have made more sense for the Young Bucks to win it all in. But at the same time, we wouldn't be getting this, so
No.
I like this better.
Yeah.
Um, but so first thing is they come out and
The music doesn't
it's
play again.
the music. The music
Is-
doesn't play, and
and
then
then
when some music does play, it's
it is
Bop by
by hand.
Hanson, which is their original theme song when they were very young, which
Oh my
is
god.
hilarious.
It was great because like Kenny was in the ring, he was just dancing the bop.
Yeah. And they have a shirt out now that is
Yes.
that is a picture of them when they were like just getting into wrestling, and it says Bucks.
Oh god.
Yeah. So yes, so they come out to Bop by Hanson, and that bag plays a factor. That bag that they asked to be filled plays a factor very early in the match, and this is a spot they've done before.
Can
They
I also, okay, you just talked about the Young Bucks entrance. I want to talk about, in contrast to the comedic nonsense that they came out to, when the Death Riders came out, okay, obviously they do it from the back. Moxley's walking out with Marina looking like an absolute crazy person. Actually, no, Moxley looks actually calm. What I noticed was off to the side, Gabe Kidd looking like a spider monkey, looking like he was a character out of Alien Resurrection or whatever. He's just crawling on the ground like he's like Gollum from Lord of the Rings or some shit
yeah.
like that.
Yep.
And then out of nowhere, the Claudio was just standing there in like
Also
closet.
just to add, he got injured during the G1 and missed the entire tournament except for one match.
Right,
And
right.
this was his first match back.
Yes, nothing like a steel cage match.
Yeah. But yes, that bag that we discussed earlier played a role early in the match, and this is a spot they've done before. They did this spot in PWG years ago, where the bag was filled with gummy bears.
Oh yes, they asked the producer, find me the most dangerous things, and there was a table of stuff, and you expect like thumbtacks or glass.
Yeah,
gummy bears, and then even like Mox was like, "Bro, what the fuck?"
He's like, "What the hell is this?"
What the hell is this?
Like, and Nick actually took a bump into the gummy bears
and did
a complete headstand. And yeah, then things obviously start to break down. They're all the like, and obviously we didn't think that like Ospreay and Tanahashi.
Can we talk about? Sorry, keep going back to entrances. Will's entrance.
Oh yes, Alex Windsor. Alex Windsor.
They did a whole. Basically, it was like a letter Alex wrote to Will, and she just read it out, and it was like such a very. I mean, it was almost like a send off, right? Because you knew that this was going to be his last match for a while, and the roar from like the crowd, the hometown crowd singing Will's song was just. I was like waiting for a day when that was happening, when he was going to be in for an AEW pay-per-view in his hometown and just getting that pop and having the crowd like doing his song. And so we got that. And that was great.
Yeah. So I obviously for obvious reasons did not expect Ospreay and Tanahashi to take a lot of bumps in this match. that was probably the whole reason they had this match, was so that Ospreay didn't have to take a lot of bumps.
Right. Right.
But yeah, there was a lot going on. Like we get a lot, in the anarchy matches, in blood and guts. We get all this stuff. Like the Young Bucks love these matches, obviously. Um, Moxley, this is like his playground. Obviously, Gabe Kidd feels right at home in the Death Riders. The only person that like the two people that feel the most out of place in this type of match are Tanahashi and Ibushi. Like,
Which is interesting because Ibushi is basically like he's got like karate and like bare knuckle background, sort of MMA style, and it's like,
yeah,
but it's
yeah,
like, yeah, those two
and
like what am I doing here?
yeah, and like even Claudio to an extent. Like, yes, he's been in the Death Riders since day one, but BBC and BCC and all of that. But even he is like, I consider him more of like a pure wrestler. So seeing him in like matches like this always is kind of like crazy to me. But of course Darby did all of his craziness like he always does in these types of matches. He did a spot where he was like thrown into the cage. Um the big spot that was like really towards the end of the match that kept him and Gabe out of the match from that point was there was a stack of tables that was set up during the match probably by Wheeler Yuta.
Yeah, they came.
Um,
Yeah, he and Marina came out at one point.
yeah, so there was just a stack of tables, and Gabe and Darby are fighting. So at one point, he tried to put Mox underneath these tables, and then he was going to do a coffin drop. But Gabe fought him up the cage, and they just fell together into these tables. Like nobody was like doing a move or anything. They were just fighting each other and just fell into these tables. And as we mentioned, Gabe just came back from a knee injury.
Right.
And
Can we talk about the fork incident?
yes, there was the fork incident with Darby's ear.
Well, first of all, Darby was duct taped to a chair or something. Something kept him from moving. And then at that point, Mox takes out a fork and like Abdullah the Butcher. So it's like gashing at one of Darby's ears. Ugh.
Yes. So something happened during the match that caused Darby's ear to bleed, and Mox just made it worse with the fork.
Yeah,
to
right.
the point where he showed up on Dynamite to have a match, and his ear was completely taped.
Right.
um, but yeah, and obviously there was just so much going on in this match. Like, and I love these kinds of matches. Like, I like all forms of wrestling. So, like, obviously, I prefer the technical stuff that we get from like Zach and Brian and Nigel and stuff like that. But I think that there's a place for hardcore death
Mhm.
match, like matches like this. And as long as it tells a story, this match was telling the story of how Will wanted to, the Death Riders tried to take him out at All In, and he recruited his quote unquote friends. Because I mean, really, the only person in this match that Will is friends with is Kenny Omega and Tanahashi. But um, um, yeah, and all the stuff that happened, obviously, Mox just is killing everybody, and yeah, Will ends up winning the match. As expected in the
So
UK.
Will didn't take. So Tanahashi got the pin.
Oh yeah,
Let's
that's
remember
right.
that.
You're right. Yeah.
So there
You're
was a
right.
whole period where like these kind of matches are this is the way they always roll out. The big brawling, everybody's fighting each other. At one point, the bad guys get the upper hand. They sort of isolate everybody, and that's kind of what they kept doing. Like as soon as like one guy starts slipping in, they just kick him back out again. I think yeah, Darby was targeted. Will was targeted. Yeah, took a really bad bump, and then he just kind of like stayed away for a while because he was just like they were selling his neck, right? Um, yeah, and then the match basically ended with Tanahashi doing a top rope splash or something.
Yep.
So Tanahashi
Yeah,
got the pin in London.
he did the high fly flow.
Right.
Or
They gave
yeah.
Tanahashi the pin as for his
Yeah.
last
So
match in London.
just some memorable spots that we didn't really talk about. There was a point where Darby was fighting Wheeler Yuta,
Oh
and
yeah, on the top.
and Yuta was shoved off the cage onto the announce table. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Omega and Kenny did some some of their Kenny and Osprey did
Mhm.
some of their like tandem offense, like the hidden blade
Yeah.
one wing angel combination.
Mhm.
Um there was a point where Osprey, which I was very surprised that he actually did this, did a moonsault off of the cage onto everybody.
Oh, right, yeah.
Um yeah, basically the same spot that we just saw on Dynamite. Like I mentioned earlier, we just saw it on Dynamite just this week. Claudio did like a gorilla press to the outside, and in this match he did it to Darby into the cage. On Dynamite, he did it into the announce table.
Yeah, so as what I mentioned earlier, a lot of guys just getting thrown onto things lately. Javon Evans on NXT had
Yep.
that done twice by two different people.
And
Darby with this
and
one.
then Claudio did this to Darby twice in 1 week. But yeah, so yes, as you mentioned, I completely forgot about the high fly flow. So yeah, Tanahashi got the win. And after the match, you know, everybody kind of just leaves the ring and lets Will
Yeah,
have the
so this
ring.
is the way. I don't like the way this ended. I don't think it was necessary to do this. We all knew Will needed
Well,
time off.
it's the same thing they did with Danielson when they knew
Yeah,
he
but
was
I
gonna.
just thought it was just kind of stupid. Like we all like I would have preferred just like a nice send off, and it was just like
Yes,
okay.
yeah,
But it's
and
so
I understand
stupid.
completely.
They all
I
leave the ring. I guess in a sense they wanted to give
Well,
Will
they gave Will the ring. The
because it's his
problem,
hometown, kind of.
see, the thing that doesn't make sense about the whole thing is that the cage should have been brought up immediately as the match ended.
Right.
So the cage doesn't get pulled up after the match, and everybody leaves the ring and lets Will have the ring. And as
Mhm.
Will is leaving
Right.
or attempting to leave,
Yeah.
Claudio hits him into the cage, and they lock the cage.
Right.
And everybody else on Will's team has gone up the ramp at this point, and they realize what's happening, and they come back down, and nobody is able to get into the ring because they're all trying to enter from the same side,
Meanwhile,
which
didn't the Death
doesn't make
Riders
sense.
because like didn't they just at the start of this match, like Darby climbed over the ring and entered from the top.
Yep.
So I'm like, why are you idiots not just doing the most simple thing, just climbing the ring or the
Yeah.
cage? Kota
And
Ibushi at one point rammed himself into the cage wall and
yes.
like completely crumpled.
And Wheeler Yuta at some point was up the cage, like was like swinging a weapon to keep them from climbing, I think. But
Okay.
there's more than one side to the ring. So
That
yeah,
cage was so big that when
yeah,
people tried to go around it, there was almost no room. But
yeah.
yeah, to your point, why was it like raise the cage? They were like, at that point, the doctors were like shouting, raise the cage. Meanwhile, Mox and Claudio,
The ops
the
came
ops,
out
yeah, the
also.
ops came out with chairs. Meanwhile, Mox and Claudio is just destroying Will's neck at this point, and they did the chair spot with the chair shot. Well, Mox gave him like 3 paradigm shifts.
Three paradigm shifts in a row, and then
the chair wrapped around Will's neck.
Yeah, Mox did the next spot with the chair that they've
Yep.
done a bunch of
Yeah.
times
I'm
now.
surprised they didn't have like Will gushing out blood or something to make it look even
Well,
more.
yeah,
But I was just like, I don't know. That was like,
I get
I
it.
didn't think that was necessary. That the way to end it like that.
Obviously, they fully expect Will to come back when he can come back, and
Yeah,
he's going to be targeting Moxley, of course.
yeah.
So
So I guess the post analysis of all this stuff is on Dynamite. Darby is kind of like once again left alone after he beat Claudio in his like false count anywhere match. The Death Riders came in again. Darby kind of just like slipped out the back door, which actually was very smart. But
yeah,
this photo's been circulating that after Wrestle Dream, when basically the same kind of thing happened to Bryan Danielson, they showed a shot of like 4 guys: Darby Allin, Daniel Garcia, Hook, and Orange Cassidy. So at the Dynamite at 2300, Hook returned, attacking Wheeler Yuta. Daniel Garcia just had this big match. Now we don't know where Daniel Garcia is going to be going at this point. Darby's there. There's only one person left in that group of 4 that was photographed. Word is that he's ready to go. He's ready to come back. They just have to find a way to work him into something, a storyline. So if you're gonna have a next set of guys that will like face off and be baby faces, you got your Orange Cassidy, Darby, Hook, Daniel Garcia, maybe 3.5 at this point. It's almost like your 4 pillars again, except Darby's still the original 4th pillar, but there's a completely different set of guys there. And with Kenny kind of like not
he's
much
in and out.
In and out. You've got Swerve gone, you've got Ospreay gone for a while. Who's left, right? I mean, you've got your world champion, but
and you got to elevate people. You got to elevate people. I mean, obviously, Orange Cassidy is the veteran of that list. I mean, that man is 40. Like he's not young, but for a wrestler anyway. But obviously we want to see more people elevated, and I've heard people say this, and I fully agree. I enjoy the Death Riders a lot more when they don't have the belt, and because they're not holding the place hostage anymore. They're just doing what they're like, and he's like, and we talked about how Mox and Daniel Garcia had that match on Dynamite. Mox gave him props after the match.
Yeah, there was a weird thing where it looked like Mox was trying to bite Danny's ear off, but it looks like he was whispering something to him.
Yeah,
but,
and he gave him props after the match, and this is kind of what we were kind of expecting out of the Death Riders. They're trying to recruit younger guys to be on their level, and obviously they already have Wheeler Yuta, so to get guys like Daniel Garcia maybe on their side, and Chris Statlander, like we mentioned earlier, and there's speculation that Shayna Baszler might be coming in, which she would fit right in with that because of Marina.
Shayna Baszler is booked for, she's booked for some indies a lot that I saw recently. So
yeah.
I mean, she also said she was a producer on wrestling on. I think we need to start wrapping this up because that's the third time that I am kind of kicked out.
Yes, we're getting to the end here, but yes, this I like, as I mentioned at the top, this was a very good show, just with some stuff that I did not agree with, that they need to fix, and as I was saying at the end of this one, I'm starting to like the Death Riders a lot more. Obviously, I like everybody in the group individually, especially Mox has always been one of my favorite guys in general. And the Death Rider stuff hasn't been working, but it's been gotten a lot better since he lost the belt, because it seems like they have a new goal that makes more sense.
Right.
And I'm fine with that. I think a lot of us were expecting the Death Riders to disappear for a while after All In, and that is just not happening. So if Mox is going to go into this new role of recruiting and putting people over without losing, I'm fine with that, because it gives us matches like the Daniel Garcia match. And I'm excited to see what happens with everything that, obviously we're building to All Out now, and we're going to get Darby versus Mox there. I think that is definitely going to happen. Mox seems to be ducking Darby in a singles match, but it's going to happen.
Well, unofficially, the Wikipedia article for All Out Toronto is showing Darby versus Mox. I don't know if
well,
it's a
Darby
spoiler or
has
something.
obviously Darby has challenged him a bunch,
Yeah.
but Mox hasn't accepted. But I think people fully expect it to happen.
Yeah, maybe Darby will threaten to set Marino on fire, and then that would end.
Yeah, you know, that seems to be an issue in AEW. There's a lot of fire going around.
Yeah, Darby's the guy with the flamethrower, so you know.
Yeah, I mean, Hangman just burned down a house. People are threatening to like murder people.
Yeah,
Like,
you know, I mean, I blame Eddie Kingston. He was a guy who came out looking like an insane person with a gasoline tank.
speaking, you know, funny you mention Eddie Kingston because that guy is back in the ring supposedly,
Huh? Really?
and yeah, he's training again.
Okay, that's good.
And I was kind of hoping that we were going to see him on the first Dynamite after Forbidden Door, and that didn't
Well, I
happen.
hope whoever is like getting him in the ring shape is the same guy who got Nick Gage in the ring shape. Because you know, watching Homecoming, like, and Nick Gage
Yeah,
coming back, wow, Nick Gage looks ripped for a 45-year-old man.
yeah, yeah, he looks good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm clamoring for this Eddie Kingston return. Obviously, he's been gone for over a year with that really bad leg injury that he got during that Gabe Kidd match. And obviously, he had to miss a lot of this. And his relationship with Mox, and like, is he going to come back as a babyface? Is he going to come back as a heel and join them? There's a lot of questions. But yeah, I can't wait for Eddie Kingston to come back. He is one of those names that, again, he's not young either, but he's over as hell. The fans love him. They relate to him. They connect with him. So, yeah, I need Eddie Kingston back. I'm so excited for his eventual return. So we'll see what happens. Paul Walter Hauser is currently
Yes,
entering
the
to face
actor
QT
Paul
Marshall.
Walter Hauser will be fighting QT Marshall in the Fight Without Honor match.
Hey, he's a wrestler now. He's got
Yeah,
championships.
I don't know how this is going to turn out. I'm getting David Arquette vibes here, even though David Arquette actually did very well after WCW. I haven't actually seen the Paul Walter Hauser match, so we'll see how this goes.
Oh,
I
I've
feel like
seen.
there's some. I feel like this is because this is a no DQ match in a sense. So I wonder if
Yeah,
there's
but
some
he's
odd.
wrestling in MLW pretty frequently. He's
Oh,
wrestling in Wrestling Revolver. He's wrestling in Progress.
mm,
He's wrestling a lot. He has, like I said, he has championships.
okay.
So
Well, we
yeah,
will shall see.
so we're gonna call it there. Thank you everybody for coming back and joining us for this review of AEW Forbidden Door. Um, we will be back hopefully in the near future with more analysis, review, whatever it is. And yeah, that's going to do it for us. Make sure to go to our Linktree / Going Over Big Time podcast for all the ways to listen and watch this podcast, as well as social media for us and the podcast itself. And yeah, just as we say all the time, watch the wrestling you want to watch, not the wrestling everybody tells you to watch. Watch whatever you want to watch. And that's going to do it for me. Alan, give us your closing thoughts.
Not much. I mean, you pretty much said it all there is to say. Just a reminder, Clash in Paris is on August 31st, which is the day after this recording at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because they're doing it in Europe. And I guess what else is happening? I mean, I'm trying to figure it out. I mean, I think there's like some NXT show coming up, or maybe even a TNA show. Yeah, I think Victory Road is supposed to be on like Saturday, Friday, September 26th, possibly. There may be some other stuff that I have to get caught up on. I've got a bunch of stuff on Triller that I'm just trying to go through, including like Homecoming, mostly GCW stuff.
Yep.
And yeah, occasionally random other indie that kind of looks interesting. So yeah, just trying to enjoy life, you know.
Yep. All right, everybody. Thank you. That is going to do it. Have a good one.